when I got Criminal Minds and I realized that I got the job and that like they might keep bringing me back because I was just a reoccurring. And they started to treat me like that I was like a regular there. And I found myself like kind of self-sabotaging in different ways. Very subtle, but still it was self-sabotage. I'm going to stop apologizing and say thank you for listening to me so attentively. That's probably why I'm talking so much.
Yes, please keep going. Please keep talking authentically. And I love that you use that word because you used it before when you were talking about yourself right at the start. You are wanting to be authentically you, and I love that. So keep being authentically you, and please stop saying sorry because we love it. We love you. We
Thanks.
love
And
listening.
I was just listening. There's a podcast I highly recommend. This is a podcast you would listen to when you're awake, but there's a podcast. This is not, I don't know her. It's just great. It's called Sleep Magic because I get a lot of like night terrors and stuff like that. It's hard for me to sleep. And she has one about authenticity. And she was talking about how she used to think authenticity was like how crazy she'd paint her nails and stuff like that. And coming from someone like me who really, I really value my authenticity and I really value being different, like I kind of like doing, I don't do it obviously anymore. I think it just comes now naturally because I've just wanted to be like that for so long, maybe. But she was saying it's not that. It's actually authenticity, which is again a new thing for me. I mean, it's a long time coming. I think it's just a very slow lesson. I've been learning it since I was a kid. It's dropping things. To be authentic is to drop more and more and more of that armoring and just, you know what I mean? And be that totally imperfect version of yourself. And yeah, people are going to probably have a lot more critique to say for that part, but that's okay.
I think you're onto something, and I think it's really it's not like a simple flick of the switch. Like, okay, I'm just going to be more authentic now, and I'm just going to be more authentically me, and that's the decision I'm making. Bam, we're done. It's such a journey. It takes such a long time, and it's so wrapped up in the core of who we are and how we understand ourselves and how we choose to then interact with the world. And those things
Yeah.
are so inexplicably linked. And I think the huge thing you're talking about is like it's really connected to self-esteem as well. And like you're talking about shedding that armor, and it makes me think about, dropping walls and things like that, like being able to understand who you are and being comfortable within yourself then gives you the power to then be authentic for other people to see. Because if
Yeah.
and it's really about having the self-esteem and being okay with who you are. That's what makes you truly authentic. Not, what my favorite color is pink and I'm going to wear pink nails all the time and that's going to make me authentic. That's part of it. That's part of who
Yeah.
you are and that's important to you and that has value. Being authentic about what color you want to paint your nail, that has value. Absolutely. But like what you're talking about being authentically you is so much deeper than just that. It's really about having yeah, just the
I
self-control and
think it's like
self-respect. Yeah.
the ability to like be in the moment, be present,
Mm.
and to like loop out there and back in real time. And if you do something in that time where you're like, oh, that wasn't my best moment, or oh, you know what I mean? Or you're looking back and you're going like, oh God, like I'm like, oh God, did I answer that question too long? Like that you quickly get over it, you go, drop it, move on. Now we're here. And not try to cover it up or do one of the things on the drama triangle like don't hero yourself, don't victim, don't villain, just like keep going. And I also think it's that remembering that like we're all gonna mess up. Like I'm gonna mess up all the time. I'm gonna mess up all my first. I'm gonna have instinctive thoughts. You know what I mean? And that being authentic means like to call those out.
Yeah. And I think, and the thing that you mentioned before, like about being an introvert or an extrovert, and or being an introvert but being assumed to be an extrovert, and I think the importance of community and that the more that you are authentically you and the more that you embrace and take that journey, because again it's not a switch, it's going to take time, the more that you engage with that process of self-reflection and learning more about yourself and learning to be comfortable with yourself, the more then you will naturally become authentic, and that's when you find your people, that's when you'll find your community, your real
Yeah.
community, people that get you and see you, and then how you engage with that and how the level that you want to have community, relationships, anything like that, that all comes then after you're able to, be authentically who you are.
Oh yeah, totally, totally, totally. Because if you've got, if you take the weather with you, to steal from a crowded house song, you're creating an environment that is more, I do this art salon once a month. We're doing it on Thursday in Hollywood called Bits, and it's people that are used to performing and people that never have, and they get up and they do 7 minutes or under of something that no one has ever seen, and it's intended to be new. So we have a mic and a music stand. It doesn't have to be memorized. It can be a song, it can be a poem, it can be a story, it can be anything. And I host it, so I do it every time. And every I'm doing I'm so used to it now. It's, what is today? Tuesday. I think about it. I'm like full of dread, mad. I have to write something for it every time. I'm like, it's got to be the best. I'm like, that's not the point of it. The point is to do something in front of people that's new. But I'm like, but I host it. It's got to be the best. And then I get full of dread and I don't want to do it. I don't want to stand in front. Then the day of, I'm like walking around like, I shouldn't have to do this. I'm in a TV show. Why am I going to do this stupid, like this whole thing? And then you go, and then there's people and like different people with their needs and things. And I hate them. I don't, but I do sometimes. And then at the end of the night, I'm like, wow, aren't I amazing that I did that? And that is like being in community. Like the whole thing is annoying and awkward and whatever. But the alternative to that is not what we want. And it is what we have been fed. It does not make anyone happy. I'm sure that people will listen to this and be like, wow, she talks a lot. But which is true, I need to work on. But one thing that I think I know about is how to live in joy. I think I know how to live a life that feels in alignment. I feel like most of the time where my brains are, which is my brain, my heart, and my like guts, I feel like most of the time they're all in agreement. Like it feels really good to be in my body, which I don't think, I'm not bragging, I'm just saying. So like, and why that is that I put myself in bullshit, uncomfortable situations that I don't have. Like, you would be like, I should just, if I had a bunch of money, I'd just lay down and eat good bread and masturbate, which is an option to do at least once a week that we can all do, by the way. I bet with any income, we could get bread and masturbate. But my point is that, like, also going out in the world, interacting with people, doing things that make you uncomfortable, doing whatever we each can do in our tiny little ways to make our community better. Those moments, when you create those moments for yourself on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis, when I string those moments together, I'm having a good time of it. When I don't, I don't. I mean, you caught me on a Tuesday where I'm like, hey, I'm great today. Next week, if I don't do all my things, I will not be this person. So I'm not trying to be like, I'm not. But today I am.
And it's that super important thing that I think you've highlighted perfectly again, in that being able to put yourself out there and do something that makes you a little bit uncomfortable and stretch your comfort zone. And it's so cliche, and we talk about it all the time, and everybody goes, get inside the comfort zone. And like, it's cliche for a reason. Like, it's important. It's said all the time for a reason, because it's so true. In order to have that, like, I love how you described the alignment of your head, your heart, and your guts. And it's that element of being a holistic person, a holistic approach to who you are and your health and your mental health and your well-being and physical being and how you choose to live and all of these things, and that you're so good at doing that and so good at living in happiness. That comes from hard work, because what you're describing isn't easy though, because you've put yourself in that uncomfortable position. You go through with bits, you go through in that circle every time you do it. Like, I've got to write it, it's got to be good, I've got to present it. And the dread that you were talking about and the experience of the day where you just feel ugh and you don't want to do it, but then you go and you do it, and then afterwards you're like, that was like, I feel great now, like that was fantastic, I'm amazing. Yeah. And it's that self-confidence, it's having that understanding of your self-worth, and it's being able to then reconcile all of those parts of you to then be able to keep putting yourself in that situation. And it's a beautiful cycle, and that's what allows you to live in that joy that you're talking about.
Yeah, and I hope everyone can hear that. Like, it's always felt like this, and it will always feel like this. That's like, created a lot of my life. I did not, there was no one in my, I mean, I have advantages. I'm a white person. I was born in California, but I was born in California is quite large. And I was not born in Hollywood, certainly. And my parents were school teachers. My dad was not ever around and was not a kind person when he was on the planet. I didn't, I created this life. I lived, so I flunked out of high school almost. I lived at a friend's house for a lot of my teenage years. I didn't, but, and I did things, and we can always, at any age, we can start doing things that feel brave to us, even if to somebody else is like, that's not that I could do that, no big deal. And then you beat yourself up on it. I remember it would be hard for me and scary to take a walk around the block because I didn't feel like I had the right to take up space. And that was a big deal for me at that time. And you have to kind of make your body do things it doesn't want to do, not to the point that you never do it again, but to the point that do not let anybody trick you. Don't let me trick you. If I happen to get in an Instagram wormhole and I'm looking at it for 45 minutes at a time, comfort does not make you happy. Comfortable does not make anybody happy. That is not it. You know what I mean? It's stretching and making yourself, that's how we do a muscle. We do a little tear, a little bit of a rupture, and then we eat bread and masturbate. But like first we like go and and then we go back and we hide, and then we go, and we know every time we do it. I went on a walk today and I still have the like, is it okay? Am I gonna get in trouble? It's a different flavor because now sometimes it's like, oh, is someone gonna like recognize me and shout at me, or like, am I safe? It's like all that bullshit, but like, or do I look dumb in this or whatever? But it's getting our systems knowing that like you're always going to feel there is no moment. Like I remember when I got Criminal Minds and I realized that I got the job and that like they might keep bringing me back because I was just a reoccurring, and they started to treat me like that I was like a regular there, and I found myself like kind of self-sabotaging in different ways, very subtle, but still it was self-sabotage, like being like 3 minutes late to a job that I like love. Like don't be late for, or like not, like just weird little things. And I was driving home and I had this realization that kind of hurt my body. And when I think about it, still when things happen, it makes me feel a little like, man, I was like, oh my gosh, if they make me a series regular on this show, if they keep bringing me back, like they've already brought me back a few times, I am no longer the girl who has quote unquote never worked on a show. I am not the loser. Anybody is going to look at this and be like, Kirsten's not a loser. Like, oh my God. But when they make me a series regular, I'm going to still be me. There's never going to be a moment where I get to stand outside my body and watch me and go, look at that girl. That's cool. I am going to be in this body knowing she has a really hard time keeping her car clean. She sometimes interrupts people. She like all these different things. Like I'm never not going to be that girl. Like I'm never not. And there was like this, oh no, oh no. Then you're like, well, I guess, you know what I mean? And so you're never not, we're never not going to feel like when you tussle with trying things or being like doing whatever, you're going to do it imperfectly and it's going to feel gross until usually I think after the fact. And then you're like, wow, remember when I was really cool and I did that really cool thing yesterday and now I'm a jerk again? Like it's always like that. That's what I think anyway.
It's hindsight. It's always looking back. In the moment, it's always like, but it's always, it's the beauty of hindsight to then look back and go, remember that time I was cool? Like, it makes so much sense. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just try to do that all the time. And then you're like, oh yeah, I think I remember that I usually feel dumb when I'm doing something brave.
And I think that's a universal experience. I feel like anytime somebody's doing something, again, outside of their comfort zone, stretching themselves, trying to grow, pushing themselves, and when you try something for the first time, it's not pretty. It's not attractive. Like, it's not a good, like, when generally speaking, when you're doing something for the first time that's outside your comfort zone, it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a hot mess. But that's the beauty of it. That's why you're doing it. The
Yeah.
whole point is for it to be a mess and for you to experience that mess. And then the more you keep doing it, the more you get better at it, the more you grow, you know.
Yeah. And then the more you grow and then you get used to it and then you're phoning it in, then you're bad again. Then you have to go take classes and realize you're not supposed to be paying it. Like you're supposed to be just like in the moment, letting whatever happen to you. Like it's always in that weird, like I spend a lot of my life sort of intentionally putting myself in like my versions, what brings me joy of like being a baby deer that just came out of the mom covered in embryonic fluid. I my versions and somebody else's versions might be like, I don't know, drag racing or whatever, but like my versions of that. And I think that I had an acting teacher named Eva Marie Johnson, and I loved her. I love her so much. She was such a great teacher. And her one thing, our assignment every day, she said, I want you to do something that really scares you, but that's not dangerous. That's not like physically dangerous to yourself or harmful or cruel to anyone. And it was really a wild, and I try to live like that. When we were in class, we had to think of like what would it be? And sometimes you'd be like, there'd be like a puddle. I remember there was like a puddle next to me and there was like all these people around. I was like, I'm gonna take my shoes off and I'm gonna go stand in the puddle. Oh my God. And you're just like, oh God, what am I doing? This is horrible. But it's like, it's not hurting anybody. It's not doing it, but it is getting your body used to that feeling. So you just know, like, this isn't going to kill you. We've so many things that we've told ourselves we're being chased by a tiger. And you're talking to someone who, like, every day, all day long, thinks she's getting chased by a tiger. And I need to practice those things to remind myself, like, this is not a tiger. This is not a tiger. Even tigers might not be tigers.
I love that. Yeah. I think, and I love the idea of doing something that is going to make you brave every day. And the fact that you highlighted something that's not dangerous, something that will still keep you safe, and then being able to distinguish the line between, okay, this is a risk for me. This is new for me. This is something. Am I going to take my shoes off? Am I going to splash in the puddle in public? Yeah, I'm going to go do that. Like being able to recognize and know where your boundaries are, though, to know that this is a new challenge that I want to take. This is something that I want to try, and it's going to be different, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and it's going to be growth, and all of those good things. But then being able to know, okay, but here's the line for where it becomes safe or dangerous for me, and here's what I'm going
Yeah.
to not be able
Oh,
to
and
do.
these things, yeah, and these things are so tiny. Like they're so minuscule. It's like, I mean, I'm right now thinking about like, okay, think about something right now that would be that would be scary to me, but not dangerous. Like it would be like, I think as women, even or like any feminine bent creature, sometimes that's like looking at like really looking at a part of your body non-judgmentally. There are parts of it that like, oh wait, I can't do that. Like I don't do that. Or learning about something that you're like, I'm afraid if I learn too much about that thing, it will draw me towards that thing in a way like or what I don't know like different things that are like they're not big things. There's so many things that we avoid because we're uncomfortable of learning more that's in here. We're uncomfortable about getting more authentically who we are.
100%. It reminds me of a time back during COVID. It was one of the good things that came out of COVID, I suppose, or at least that time in our lives in the world. I was at college at the time studying, and we were, the thing about being isolated and so distant for everybody, and I was like, this sucks. Like, this is awful. Like, I can't keep. We were going to class and we were there in person. And so I would get to see some people in person still, but, the distance and everything. And everybody was in such a dark place because the world was in such a dark place. And I was like, I want to try doing that. I want to try doing something that's going to put me out of my comfort zone, that's going to stretch me, that's going to bring some joy to me and some others. And I set myself a little challenge during this time to try and do something every day when I would go to campus to see people. I would do something every day that was going to bring joy to somebody else, that was going to bring joy to me. It was going to be something that I could grow. And to do exactly that challenge that you've described, I did something quite similar to that. And I started with the stupidest little dumb things, super dumb things. But I quickly noticed and learnt within myself everything that you were just talking about. I resonate with 100%. The first thing I did was I wore two different shoes, like two different bottom shoes. And I'm like, this is really dumb. Like, I was so anxious going to class. I was like, everyone's going to see my feet. I'm wearing 2 different colored shoes. They don't even look the same. This, like, the whole outfit is a throw off now. And I was so anxious. And I was like, I've got shoes on. Why am I so anxious about this? I'm just wearing 2 different shoes. And it was from that point that I was like, I have to keep doing this, because it was so good to then sit with that and feel those feelings and go, okay, why am I anxious about this? It's the judgment of others. Okay, well, what does that do for me? Like,
And it's your inner authoritarian.
Yes, and the inner critic as well, and then like
Your inner patriarchy in there being like, and I don't mean this as a diss to men. I mean, it's the inner thing. It's the inner white supremacy. It's the inner, like, there's a right way to do this. There's a perfect way. There's a perfect girl that you're not being. It's really interesting.
Yeah, and I broke that because I'm not fitting the mold. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, because it's this weird unspoken rule that I had to look pretty. I had to look presentable. I had to go to class to be taken seriously in my degree. I had to be looked at in a certain way. But you know what? I'm wearing 2 different colored pairs of Converse right now. I'm doing it. And it made people giggle, and it made people smile, and it stretched me. And so I began to do something different every day. One day I wore my entire outfit inside out. Tags around the front, inside out. I wore inside out pants. My pockets were hanging out, and it made people laugh, and it made me laugh, and it gave me that challenge to connect with myself, to grow, to be able to then reflect on some of those things that you're talking about. Like, why do I care so much about the outfit that I'm wearing?
Right. And if you were a totally different person, doing that could be armoring. Doing that could be distancing. You know what I mean? Like so it's like knowing that line too. It's so interesting.
Yeah. And it all depends on you as a person and your experiences and how you want to navigate that. Because for me, it was more about my self-worth and being able to be taken serious in my profession and what I want to do, even, you know, as a woman, as a white woman, as what that looks like, and, you know, my own values and views and thoughts about that, and also like how I looked, my presentation, being okay, like what you said, if every woman could just look at one particular part of her body that she doesn't like and then sit with that, like that's uncomfortable. But that's what it was like for me. But somebody else could do the same challenge and learn something completely different from it. And yeah, I absolutely love it. Yeah. Crazy.
That's cool.
I have a few questions for you. Some followers of the podcast.
It's okay. I'm not on a time crunch. Yeah.
Followers of the podcast have sent in a few questions, and I feel like, funnily enough, the 3 questions that I've got from the followers all really fit with everything we've been talking about today. So it seems really perfect.
That's all for this episode of I Don't Know What We're Talking About. But if you want to hear Kirsten's exclusive Q&A, where she answers your questions, talks about what's coming in Criminal Minds Season 19, and whether the show is getting a Season 20, you can find all that over on patreon.com/Gemma Watches Stuff. Thank you so much for listening and for being part of this little corner of the internet. I'll see you next time.